That's the Cabot Trail. We're in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, which is like on the far side of Canada. And this is a 298-kilometer drive that I hear is downright breathtaking. So that's the adventure we are about to start today. This is probably going to be a series of the next couple of videos. Let's go. Well, so far we're about a half an hour into this Cabot Trail. I thought for sure that the weather was going to hold out for us, but as you can tell, the clouds are rolling in again. I have had a substantial amount of time off to myself on this trip. Like, I've already been to Prince Edward Island and spent multiple days there and got off the island and didn't film a damn thing for anybody else but me. Technically, I didn't film anything for me. I just honestly enjoyed my time and travels over there and took it all in for myself. So sorry, guys, I didn't film any PEI, Prince Edward Island. Yeah, maybe on the way back, who knows? But so far into this drive here on the Cabot Trail, it's already cost me like 31 bucks. $31. Why? Because Chrome did something. I always do this. I go into a business, buy myself coffee, and I leave with socks. Come on. These are like, oh, are you telling me that that's not? And I can't just buy one pair because then they would match. So I gotta buy 2 pairs. And as soon as I walked into the coffee shop, someone's like, you look like you live out here. I'm like, why? They're like, because you're wearing plaid top, and on my Converse on the bottom. Apparently, I look like a local. I love that feeling. And the smell of that ocean, just beautiful. Let me throw a little map up on the screen and show you where I am. Compared to Vancouver, I am way out there. And my plan on this section of my van life journey is to slow right down. This is 298 kilometers, and I am probably 20 minutes into this long drive, and this is it for me today. I plan on going backwards, grabbing a campsite at a campsite I just drove through. It was $27 for the night, and it was very calm because it's off season. There wasn't a lot of people there. This Atlantic Ocean smells different than the Pacific Ocean. It's very salty in the air, very salty. And maybe it's because we're near a boat marina, but the fishy smell is kind of on point. All right, let's backtrack a little bit and go back to the campground. Self-registration. I love the beaver and all the Canada stuff. Beavers are awesome, by the way. Instructions, select a campsite. We did that. We're in number 9. Complete the envelope. Did that. That's already done. Place cash or personal check in an envelope. We got cash. So that's a Canadian 20. And here's a funny Canadian 10, which is more than... The cost is $27.40, but I don't have change, so they're gonna get the whole thing. Place detach stub and place on windshield. Got it. And deposit the envelope. Let's do that. Hello, are you in there? Okay. Boom. Camping paid. So I'm beginning to think it's time for me to go out and actually buy like leveling blocks, because I've seen them on Amazon. I've seen them in like the department stores like Canadian Tire. I do this a lot, especially when I'm going to be camping out somewhere and the ground is incredibly uneven. Grabbing a couple of rocks just works, but it would be pretty cool if I had an actual proper system. What are you doing, Chrome? See, this is what happens when you... Back a little bit more. All right, that looks good. This is what happens when you live in a van by yourself. You got to do things like this to entertain yourself. Like... Pull the rope up. Okay, I'm done being a nerd. Since I've been on the road now for a couple of months, we should have a money talk. Finances, what it's costing, I don't know. I've not kept track like I set out to keep track of everything and I didn't do it. But let me tell you something, traveling full time and covering distance, we're not talking about doing like 4 or 5 hour drives in a day, but even covering 2 to 3 hours in a day makes travel full time extremely pricey. There's a lot of things you need to factor in. You know, there's differences between town and city parking versus provincial parks or national parks like I'm in now. But you got to realize that all of your travels are going to include some free parking, maybe some Walmarts, maybe some street side parking, or if you're in the US, you're on free BLM land, or you're in Canada, you're on free Crown land. Or if you go into a provincial park, you stay at the provincial campground, which I find are a little bit cheaper than if you were to camp like in this one here, which is a Parks Canada campground, which means while I'm in here, you gotta pay for parking. So when it comes to doing this stuff, this is where sometimes travels can start to add up. Like if you weren't planning on being in this national park for 5 days, well, you gotta realize 5 days, that's 5 days worth of paid camping because you're not allowed to park outside of these parks when you're in a national park or a provincial park. So you got to factor in all this stuff. So but think about your travels though. If you're not one to go into I don't know what they're called in the US, your parks, we call them national, provincial, I don't know what they are in the US, but you got to factor those in too. You might be traveling and trying to avoid those places, which is great. You'll save a ton of money if you don't enter these parks, but I think you fail without entering these ones, I'm telling you. Come on, look at the Parks Canada parks we've been to on this travel. We've been to like Elk Island, I think that's a national park. Amazing, just downright amazing. And then there's Jasper and all those other ones, just blow your mind, breathtaking. And now we popped into this one. So far, it is just like, I can't believe this place is real. Everything here is different from what I'm used to on the west coast of Canada. It is so wild. So sometimes on your travels, you got to pay for stuff. But that's where my travels sometimes can get a bit more expensive. Fuel is huge, very big. And because, you know, it's okay if you're traveling like an hour a day. Yeah, no big deal. Pop in a few Walmarts here and there, maybe a few truck stops, all good. But what I have found on this portion of my trip is that my chain gym that I belong to, that I get showers at, that I pay my monthly $50 a month membership to, there's none of them on this side of Canada, 0. So if I want to shower out here, I've gone to the Irving Big Stop truck stops, which have been awesome, by the way. Really, really good, super clean, great showers, $12, a little expensive, but you know what? Sometimes when you haven't had a shower in a few days, they're gold. But I've stayed at truck stops and a few Walmarts on this side of the trip because sometimes you just don't feel in the mood to go find a nice spot beside a lake or somewhere beautiful and epic. So I just been like literally, guys, pulling in, hitting a Walmart, having a good night's sleep, out I go. Or hitting those Irving truck stops, which have been really great because there's Wi-Fi in the parking lot and they're actually very fast, and overnight parking at the big stops are allowed. Sure, it's a little noisy because you have all the semi-trucks beside you, which sometimes stay running all night. The dance like, but I enjoy the hum in the background. It's a city boy thing. I really enjoy that stuff. But you got to factor in stuff like that too when you're traveling. So you got gas every day, which for me sometimes could be upwards of $50 a day. But mind you, remember when it comes to me, I'm also doing YouTube as a business, so keeping moving and keeping filming is key in order to keep creating content for all of you. I could move very little every day and just talk to you every day. No big deal, we could do that. I can talk, I have no problems talking. But you got to think about that when it comes to planning your traveling full time, because as of right now, I am paying about the same to live as I would have if I would have lived in my apartment. So traveling full time has become extremely expensive. Look at today. I probably spent 20 bucks for the gas, 30 bucks on camping. I'm $50 into my day already. Oh, and I bought myself socks, so I'm $50, $60, $70 into my day today. Coffee, so that the whole thing was 30 bucks, so 50, 60, 70. I'm $80 into my day today. 80 bucks. A couple bucks for my beer, which I bought like a month ago. But a couple bucks for my beer. Come on, man. I'm looking like $80 to $100 in my whole day today, because I don't even know what I went through for gas. But factor that in. That's one day. You know, sure, I can't afford to travel like this all the time, but when you get to places like this on your travels, you're in an epic park, you gotta pay for camping every day. It's just a part of it. And if you don't want to pay for it, you just make the 300-kilometer drive, quickly see all the scenes, snap all the Instagram shots that you need, and get out. Right? I just honestly don't want to drive 300 kilometers just to see this blur by me like every other tourist. I want to enjoy this every day. I want to sit here and listen to that chipmunk over there somewhere. I ran into a parks worker today, and he was telling me that just down the street from here is another campground. It's a little bit more expensive because they have hookups and stuff like that. But they have laundry mats and stuff like that in there too. So if I wanted to go do laundry and stuff, which is cool. But he's like, yeah, you don't have to go to the hookup part, but you can still use the facilities in the hookup part. So if I were to camp down there, which I didn't want to, I wanted to camp here tonight because being that this one's like not really open and unserviced, it's not as busy, right? Going down to the other one, which is an open campground, there would have been more people around, which means making this video would mean me talking weirdly in front of other people that are standing in front of me, where right now I'm not by myself. But, you know, even the parks people around here are super friendly and bundles of knowledge. So don't be afraid of their little badges and their little outfits and their vests and stuff like that, because they're just, honestly, guys, really great people. They're human beings just like us. And I know my Americans are going to say, not down here, they're not. But maybe it's a Canada thing. So Canada's an amazing place to be, you guys. I suggest you guys travel up here. But keep in mind, when you guys are going to be moving every day, that regular travel is not as cheap as you think it's going to be. It definitely wasn't as cheap as I thought it was going to be either. Like, I have dipped into my emergency fund so much on this trip. But it's been one of those things where, come on, man, I'm on the other side of Canada, and I've just indulged in things that I probably shouldn't have. I bought myself a few things, bought myself this nice thing when I was in Quebec, and just like socks and stuff like that. But you know, it's $20 and $50 here and there, but that's where things add up. You know, I always intend to eat in my van. Doesn't always happen. This morning I could have pulled over and made myself a bagel and a coffee on my own, but I didn't. I stopped at this little touristy place and I bought 2 pairs of socks, coffee, and a muffin. But that's all extra money, and it just happens every day. But if you are disciplined and you have the financial discipline to not go out and do touristy things and buy yourself stuff like that, then travels will be a lot more affordable. I don't got that willpower. I just don't. I try, but I don't. I get into a place like that this morning, I'm like, Chrome, don't buy the socks. Don't do it. The moose ones, the Canadian flag. Yeah, okay, there you go. Chrome's leaving with a pair of wool socks, because in my brain was like, they're awesome, they'll look good in your Converse, and do it, because this winter time you need some warm stuff on your feet. But I didn't need to, because my socks right now, look at, I got these at Walmart the other day. There was like 6 of them for $5. I bought 2 of those for 30 bucks. But anyway, guys, all I wanted in this video was to let you guys know that traveling full-time and being on the road is very expensive. Yes, you can make it cheaper, but that means avoiding some of these epic spots. Like, for people that don't have the park pass like I did, they would have had to pay 15 bucks or whatever the entry fee is to get into this park. I don't know, but that's per person. That's not like for the vehicle. So that's per person. So whatever the fee is, 10 bucks. I don't know, whatever. Google it if you want to know. But say it's $10 per person or $15 per person to get into this park. If you have a park pass like mine and you buy that pass once at the first park, because you don't know where these parks are. I mean, I'm a wanderer. I'm not a Google kind of guy, so I just wander. I come in here, I'm like, oh, this is I just heard about this Cabot trailer, whatever it's called, something like that. I didn't know it was a national park. I had no clue. But thankfully, when I got in here, I'm like, oh, national park. Yeah. Look, I got the pass. Right past the toll booth. All right, so I guess before we go, let's talk about van life in towns and cities. I find those ones to be a lot more cheaper and affordable because when you're in a town, you could always hit a Walmart or find a street side parking somewhere where you're not breaking a parking bylaw sign. But when you're in a town, I find it to be a lot cheaper. It may not be as adventurous and you may not be able to explore like you could in a place where I am today. But in towns, I find it so much more affordable. If you're a city park kind of person, you don't mind the people, the ruckus, and the busyness. But in towns, I find it cheap because it's so easy to find a place to park in town for free. It's when you get adventurous and get out here in like the boonies where things get super epic and super exciting. This is where it does get expensive. But budget for that and plan for that because, you know, I've got some money still in my emergency fund. Yes, I'm traveling out of my emergency fund right now because my YouTube payout hasn't come in yet, nor is my Patreon payout. So right now I'm just like sucking out of my my emergency fund. So but yeah, just keep some money aside for that because you never know when you get to a place like this and you had no idea it was a national park and you had no idea that you'd have to pay for camping every night. But budget for that so the money is there. You know what I mean? Anyway, guys, I'm gonna enjoy my night here at the campsite. And one thing I will say about staying at a campsite is really nice is you feel safe. And being safe in a van, knowing that you're secure around nice, good, like-minded people. Like there's another van lifer over there, and there's a couple just camping out of a tent and stuff just on the other side of me over here. Oh, and by the way, there's bathrooms over here with showers. Yep. It says that they're warm showers, but we'll find out in the morning. Maybe I'll have a shower. But it's pretty cool. For $27, I've got everything that I need, including a bathroom with a toilet, hot running water, and a shower. I spent the night at a truck stop the other night and cost me $12 for a shower. Kind of get it all here. $10 extra and a good place to sleep tonight. I'll take it. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to let you guys go here because I cracked myself a beer and it's just been sitting here. So, all right. So I guess that was a whole lot of rambling, a whole lot of chatting, and a whole lot of just blah, 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 just to let you guys know that van life can be very expensive. It just depends on who you are and the kind of person you are and how fast or slow you travel. All right, you guys, stay positive, be beautiful, and never, ever stop being weird. Normal sucks.
Little by little, piece by piece, I take back what's been stolen from me. Little by little, piece by piece, until I'm complete.